everyone, welcome back to my channel, Samantha's Vida Bonita. I'm so excited you're back because today we're going to take on a little bit of a delicious twist to the kitchen. I ran out of all-purpose flour and decided to mix things up with bread flour in our cinnamon roll recipe. So it's going to be a bake or bust kind of situation. I can't wait for you guys to see how this turns out. So grab your apron and join me for our first baking adventure on my channel. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified every single time I post a video. In this recipe, you'll need 150 grams of active sourdough starter, 2 eggs, one cup of warm milk. I'm just using 2% here because it's what I have. And we use what we have, as you'll see. We have half a cup of melted or softened butter. I prefer softened. Melted makes things a bit more wet. But the microwave got ahead of me. A third cup of sugar. You'll also be needing 2 teaspoons of salt. Here I'm just using the store brand pink Himalayan salt. Salt is salt, don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be a specific kind, it's just salt. And we're just going to let it mix a little bit. From there, we're going to need 4 cups of all-purpose flour. As you can see here, my flour bin is a bit empty. I definitely don't have 4 cups here, but we're going to give it a shot. We're going to use what we have. And just when I thought, oh, this is going to be a disaster, what do I do now? My toddler is napping, and I can't just run to the store and leave him home, of course. So just when I thought, ugh, disaster, enter our friend bread flour. So here we're going to be trying out this recipe with bread flour. We will find out how it goes at the end. So here's cup number 2. Cup number 3. And cup number 4. And we're just going to continue to mix. As it goes, it'll start to pick up the flour alongside the bowl. As you can see, the flour on the bowl is disappearing. You can see here the dough is starting to ball up and become a bit more smoother, have a little more elasticity. So you'll want to mix this in your mixer for about 8 to 10 minutes, 12 if you're going a little slower. So as you can see here, it's starting to stick to the bowl, and that's probably just because I used melted butter instead of softened butter, but that's okay. We'll just go a little faster, get it more combined. As you can see, this is a soft dough. We'll continue to knead it in the mixer. Now it's a little better. I'll continue to just kind of knead that a bit by hand. In the bowl, see how it's doing stretch-wise. It's good, very elastic. I like to roll it into a ball and give it a couple of taps there. Make sure it bounces back. See that? Not bad. Put it back in the bowl. And we will cover and come back tomorrow morning. Welcome, it's the next morning. And my toddler is in the kitchen with me. So I set him up with his little iPad there so I can kind of work on this while he's a little distracted. Here I'm just turning out the dough onto the counter. Oh, a little sticky, not expected, but okay. Add a little flour and start rolling it out into a rectangular type shape. You'll want to spread some butter on this to make the sugar and cinnamon stick, but since mine was a bit more soft, I didn't think it really needed it. So here I'm just putting sugar, I'd say about 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup. Kind of measure with your heart. This is just for the inside. You want to spread that out a little bit. And here I have my toddler helping me with the cinnamon. We'll just put the cinnamon all over and just kind of spread it around, mix it in with the sugar. Or what you can do is you can mix the cinnamon and the sugar in a bowl and then just kind of dump it all on. And I think it needs a little more cinnamon along the edges, so we'll add that. And now we'll start to roll it. So as you can see here, it's kind of sticking to the counters. Oh, first let's clean up the cinnamon. As you can see here, I got my little bench scraper, the plastic one. Oh. And I'm just going to kind of help it unstick from the counter as I'm rolling it. It's not usually this sticky, but we're just working with it. We've done all the work. Let's just continue. I want to bake it and see how it comes out anyways. If it's good, great. If it's not so good, we know for next time. And we're just gonna kind of shape it there, move it along so we can cut it. just going to prep this pan here. So I just like to use a glass Pyrex or Pirex with some parchment paper lined to help it come off easier. You can also put some butter in the pan, make it not stick. Here I am just measuring 2 fingers width for each one. Doesn't have to be hard, just use the tools that you have. So go ahead and cut. With this back and forth motion, it helps to not squish it too much so they turn out nice and cute. So this recipe is for 12 cinnamon rolls, but every time I make it, I always get 16. Here, I'm just using my scraping tool to kind of help it get off the counter. And you see, like, nice little swirl. So in this big pan, I can usually fit 6, 7, sometimes 8, depending on if I want them super separated or more squished together. I've tried it both ways. They cook perfectly fine both ways. Just getting some more parchment paper to line this other pan and continue on plopping them in. These end pieces are basically the family's test pieces. So I like to just cover these with some plastic wrap just to keep them from drying out while they are resting for the next 1 to 2 hours. Let's clean up some of this cinnamon sugar. The easiest way I find is to just use the back of that scraping tool and just kind of drag it to one pile and just push it off into a napkin or into your hand. So here I'm just using some disinfectant spray, spraying it down. I like to wipe the bottom of these pans so I don't have sugar in my oven. Here they are, so they will just sit here and rest for the next 2 hours. Here we are, 2 hours later. You can see how big they are. Nice and expanded. In the oven they go. So this is going into a preheated 375 degree oven for about 28 to 30 minutes, depending on your oven. And here they are, freshly baked cinnamon rolls. So they baked nicely. They were great. As they cooled, they started to get a little bit dried out. They eat just fine. You can eat them. They're delicious. Of course, they're delicious. They're cinnamon rolls. But I definitely prefer using all-purpose flour. So using bread flour for this was a bust.